Hi, my name is Stephen Fairley. I'm CEO of the Rainmaker Institute. We're the nation's largest legal marketing company that specializes in lead generation, lead conversion, and client retention. Since 1999, we've been privileged and honored to work with over 15,000 attorneys nationwide and over 35 of the largest state and local bar associations. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about intake and lead conversion. There are three major parts that every single successful law firm has in order to be successful: lead generation, lead conversion, and client retention. Lead generation is generating leads into the top of the funnel. In other words, it's doing all kinds of marketing or business development or whatever it is that you're going to do to be able to drive more traffic, to drive more business to your law firm. Lead conversion is the process from the time that they initiate contact with the law firm all the way through until they sign up to become a retained client or pay your retainer fee. Client retention is actually about not just doing good work for your clients so that they like you, but that they actually come back to you and have repeat business and repeat referrals from those clients depending on your practice area. The strategies that you use for each one of those three pieces of the puzzle vary greatly. Now, lead generation is very expensive. You have to continually do lead generation in order to get more leads, right? You have to feed the machine called your law firm. You have expenses, you have things that are going on. So you have to make sure that you're doing some sort of marketing and business development. That could be networking, that could be online marketing, it could be pay-per-lead, it could be search engine optimization, whatever it is, but lead generation is expensive. It costs your law firm more money this year than it did last year to create the same number of leads, to generate the same number of leads, which is where lead conversion comes into place. Because lead conversion is the process of from the time that they actually contact your law firm, whether it's a referral, whether it's a walk-in, whether it's they pick up the phone and call you or email you, however they connect with you, all the way through until they actually sign on the dotted line and pay you a retainer fee or sign up. That's what I want to focus on, because it is simply the fastest, most cost-effective way that you can actually get more business immediately. Now, this works whether you're inside of an existing law firm or whether you're actually going to launch your own law firm, okay? Or you're in your own law firm and you're the partner, you're the owner. In general, it is probably the fastest way you can put more money into your pocket. We have literally seen law firms double their revenues in 90 days without getting any more leads, just by converting the leads that they're already getting. Now, if you pay attention to what I'm going to share with you, I will give you some very, very practical tips that could make a huge difference in the amount of new clients that you're signing up right now. The very first thing that I want you to focus on is the fact that there are 5 stages of lead conversion. See, most attorneys, they actually think they're pretty good at intake and lead conversion. And most of them are wrong. Now, I'm not here to insult you, but I am here to educate you and to provoke you to think in different ways. See, when I say, are you good at intake or are you good at lead conversion, most attorneys say, well, yes, I am. Because what they're thinking is, if I'm sitting kneecap to kneecap with a highly qualified prospect that has plenty of money to pay for my fees and has the exact need that my law firm can solve, then I can sign them up. To which I would say, I hope to God you can. Because if you can't sign that person up, we should really talk about having someone else do your initial consultations. To me, that's an order taker, not a rainmaker. And I'm not in the business of training order takers. I'm in the business of training rainmakers. A rainmaker is someone who simply brings in the rain. They bring in the money. They bring in the accounts. So what they don't understand is that what they're talking about is intake and lead conversion is actually the 4th stage of lead conversion, and there are 5 of them. And I'm going to share with you what all 5 of them are right now. Number 1, and you want to write these down. Number 1, how many leads come into the top of the funnel? How many leads come into the top of the funnel? Number 2 is how many of those leads actually turn into appointments. Number 3 is how many of those appointments show up. Number 4 is how many of them sign up at the initial consultation. They don't go home and think about it. They don't go talk to another attorney. They sign up right then and there. And number 5 is how many of them sign up later on down the road. So you're not able to get them and close them at the initial consultation. You close them somewhere else or sometime down the road. What we found is that there are specific strategies that you can implement at each stage to be able to radically increase your lead conversion rate. Now, we've worked with a lot of law firms, and so we have a pretty good feel for this, a pretty good indication. And in our experience, the average law firm converts somewhere between 5 and 15% of their leads. Let me repeat that. The average law firm converts somewhere between 5 to 15% of their leads, which means out of 100 leads that come into your law firm, your average law firm is only going to sign up 5 to 15 clients. You say, well, that doesn't make any sense. We sign up 8 out of every 10 clients that come in. No, you don't. You sign up 8 out of every 10 people that come in that not only become a lead, but actually set an appointment that showed up at the initial consultation. And they qualified. That's not what I'm talking about. The problem with that is that you're measuring the wrong number. You don't want to measure the number at the initial consultation. You want to measure the number of the leads that are coming in at the top of the funnel. What we've found is that a lot of law firms are not very good at tracking leads. So that's tip number 1, is track your leads. Every single phone call, every single email, every single live chat, every single communique with a potential client, not an existing client, but a potential client needs to be tracked. Number 2, make sure you get back to them in a very prompt fashion. There was a study that was done by Velocify.com. They studied 400 companies who generated over 3.5 million leads. And what they found was there was a direct correlation between how quickly that lead was followed up with on the phone and whether or not it converted. You know what they found? They found that on average, your conversion rate drops like a rock after 5 minutes. You literally only have 5 minutes to follow up with that lead. Yet we have secret shop law firms all across the country and found that it takes on average 1 to 2 weeks for them to get back to us. Are you kidding me? What does that say? That says that they're busy. I get it. I understand that. But prospects don't. And prospects won't wait. And always the best cases go first. So if I'm a prospect and looking for an attorney and I've got 3 or 4 on my list and I want to hire one of them, you and I both know that the person that gets me on the phone the fastest is most likely to sign, or at least most likely to set an appointment. So your job is to have someone in your law firm, whether it's you or whether it's someone else, to make sure that every single lead is tracked and every single lead is followed up with as fast as humanly possible. That speed to call from the time that a lead comes in your email or your inbox till the time that you actually get them on the phone is critical. Minutes matter. So be conscious of that. Don't just let them sit there for days or weeks at a time. It just doesn't work that way. Law is too competitive out there. It is far too competitive, and it's really easy for them to pick up the phone and call someone else. The next tip that I would give you is don't try to close people over the phone. Don't try to close people over the phone. The only point of that phone call, once you get them on the phone, is to, number 1, qualify the lead versus DNQ, does not qualify. Make sure they meet the minimum criteria. Number 2, build rapport. Show some empathy for that person. Try to connect with them as a human-to-human person. You know, not just an order taker like at a drive-through window. Make sure you're connecting with them as a human being. Oh, I'm really sorry that you went through that. Or, man, that must be really painful. Anything that lets them know that you care about them more than just the money that's in their pocket. And number 3 is set the appointment. The goal is to set the appointment. Everything you do in those 5 stages is to push them down the funnel. So when you talk to a lead, the ultimate goal is to get them to set the appointment. When you have them set the appointment, the ultimate goal is to make sure that they show up. When they show up, make sure that they sign up at the initial consultation. Ask them for the business. Directly ask them. And say, all right, is there any other questions that you have that would keep you from moving forward today? Or how about this? Let's go ahead and get you started so that you can get back on your feet and back towards financial freedom, or whatever your practice area is. But directly ask for the business during that consultation. I've seen so many attorneys have left the consultation or ended the consultation with something like this. Well, here's the retainer agreement. Why don't you go home and think about it, and then give me a call back if you really want to sign up. Don't do that, ever. Ask for the business. They came there because they're in pain. They came there looking for hope. Ask them for the business. Don't make the mistake of just telling them to go home and think about it. Ask them for the business, but consider this. There are 5 stages of lead conversion. How many leads come into the top of the funnel? How many of those leads turn into appointments? How many appointments actually show up? How many sign up at the initial consultation? And then number 5 is how many sign up later on. Fix your follow-up and you'll fix your cash flow. The fastest way to increase your cash flow is fix your follow-up. Make sure you follow up with every single lead consistently, persistently, and frequently.